Let me stick something over it. Oops. I can guarantee you that my dogs will now become interested in what's going on. So we'll start again because I just started on YouTube. What's going on, peeps? How you doing? How's everyone doing? Serving Metropolitan Police Officer, yada yada yada. I'm here to answer your questions on anything policing. Yeah, I need to get my hair redone, and but your mum likes it this way, so there you go. Now we've got that out of the way. Can we be nice to each other? Can we be kind to each other? We don't have to be, but it just helps so that I have to kick you out because I am now apparently responsible for what you lot say because the director of professional standards are just a bunch of haters. So can we tap the screen and can we do all the jazz that you're supposed to do? I'm an ex-Hearts cop. I was just up there, bun you guys, not you specifically, and you are genuinely fighting a good fight. Oh, shout out you. Hertfordshire police are a bunch of battios. I'm actually waiting for a phone call from them, and they're not going to call me. I had this so you know what? We're at 1.5k. I'm sure the person who I'm going to talk kindly, mildly about won't mind me telling my experience. I'm not going to talk about theirs, but it's my experience what happened on the weekend. I was up in Hertfordshire because when gang roll up, are you going to back your brethren? And I do every time. So I was out in Hertfordshire and obviously had to go to the police station. And then I had to encounter a custody sergeant. And as a police officer, I know there's actually some really nice custody sergeants, you know. Recently, there's like nice ones, but the old school ones are always just a bunch of battios. And I encountered the batty one, so I can tell you the story time about that. Once we get to like 5k, I left because they're going down the toilet. Fair. Are you going to stay in the Met until they kick me out, innit? How long have you been suspended? Is a date set for your hearing? There's no date set for my hearing because the haters shall never prosper. But yeah, bro, call me because I found some NCR's guidance. That's gold dust. Oh, safe. All right, cool. Wait, you want me to call you right? You, bruv, don't take the piss. And I always call you. You never answer the phone. Why? Why Croydon AI level 10? What? I'm so confused. If they don't kick you out, are you still going to stay? Yeah, I'm going to stay until they kick me out because it's hilarious to me. Because there's nothing I get more of a kick from than winding up the Metropolitan Police Director of Professional Standards. It's like my favorite thing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, what are we doing here? Sorry, I'm actually reading at the same time. So I say sorry, but I'm not really that sorry because reading is more important than talking on TikTok. Some of y'all need to do a little bit of more of it. A little bit of more of it. But yeah, so ask me questions that answer your questions. What it do, man? Or I'll play random music in the background. But I'm a probationer and I'm 4 weeks in. And my response driver, I'm guessing, said he'll put a lot of pressure on me. Well, what do you mean? Like good pressure or bad pressure? What does he mean? Is it like sinister pressure? Is it like that pressure that you don't really want? That inappropriate pressure? See, it's about to get in trouble. But yeah, seriously, what kind of pressure is it? And if you're so concerned, why don't you sit down and have a conversation with them? Don't be too scared to have a conversation with someone, because a lot of people in the police don't like having conversations for some weird reason. They're scared of conflict, even though our job is, to conflict resolution. I just find it weird that police officers find that weird. But yeah, just don't be scared to have a convo, bro. It's okay. If you're concerned, just say, hey, bro, like, what did you mean? Can you expand on that, please? Do I have to call Dom down here to punch you in the face? Like, there's a way to resolve this. You know what? I can't wait, to read the transcripts that the director of professional standards produce when they say that I've brought the job into disrepute for my TikToks, because some of the one-liners I've dropped are absolutely hilarious, and yeah, I just can't wait to hear it. GW hearing next week. Do you think he will get a fair hearing? GW. Oh, GW. Yes. Sorry, I forgot that you know him. Do I think he's going to get a fair hearing? No, because what it relates to and the person it also relates to is Brown. So they hate him. They hate the person that this isn't even about him. You know that, right? Because the amount of line managers. Sorry, what I'm actually talking about. Someone's asked a question about someone we both know, and they've got a gross misconduct hearing, and it's about fraud, at comms fraud, essentially, in terms of booking someone on when they weren't at work. But there's obviously much more to the story. It's not literally just that. So there was context around it and mitigating circumstances. But they asked, do I think they'll have a fair hearing? No, because the person that was found to have actually doing the wrongdoing, they may have deceived people and so forth, so forth, so forth. They don't like him, so they're just going to get rid of everyone around that. So no, I don't think they'll have a fair hearing. I think it's in his favour that he's no longer there, if that makes sense, because they may do the good old yeah, do you know, we wouldn't have sacked him, but yeah, can there be an abusive process with misconduct proceedings, especially when they've done what they've done to you? Of course there can be. They do all the time. Like I did like that's the main. Where's my back pillow? Sorry, I've got like a back pillow so my back, I can't find it. Dogs probably tune it. um yeah, of course they can be abusive like process. They do all the time. Like director of professional standards are just corrupt. They pick and choose what rules they want to follow. So what they'll do is they'll wake up in the morning and they'll just simply go, okay, cool. We want to get Dom today. How are we going to get him? So all right, cool. We can just say that a prime example, he doesn't pay council tax. He hasn't been paying his council tax. He's defrauding the government. We're going to contact the government, which they actually did. Contact the government. He pays his council tax. Yeah, but we don't want him like that. That narrative doesn't suit us. They just make stuff up. They went as far, like the Metropolitan Police went as far as saying my partner, like it was like the funniest conversation I've ever heard in my life. It's not funny, but it is funny because they're so stupid. So the Met Police couldn't understand, they couldn't get it through their thick heads, yeah, that my partner isn't English, nor is she British, just because she can speak English. Her English is so good that you think she's English, but any intelligent person understands that most English people can't speak English properly anyway, but she can. So because of that, they were like, well, why have you got this passport? You are English. And she's like, no, I'm not. And they're like, yes, you are. And she's like, no, I'm not. And you can imagine how the conversation went. It was like, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. And then they saw her passport and they were like, well, this is a fake passport. You must be lying because listen to how you speak. And you definitely can't be from the country that you're saying you're from because only white people are from there. And like, this is how stupid they are. Right? And then it went back and forth and back and forth. And then they realized, oh, Shiza, she is actually from there. And instead of saying sorry, they just go, oh, yeah, well, they move on to the next thing. The rock comes from the top down. Yeah. Do the sergeants do the interview at DPS? Do the sergeants do the interview at DPS? Well, I wouldn't know the answer to that. So someone else might be able to answer that for you because I've never had a DPS interview because they refuse to interview me. Because they know that if they ask me questions directly relating to what they believe I've done, I'd be able to answer them. And they don't want me. What's going on, Mansour? How you doing, brother? I'm on YouTube. Yeah, I stream on both because like TikTok doesn't like some of the language I use. So it just makes it easier. So people can just switch between. If you want to go onto my YouTube, anyone that's just joined, it's the same name, I think. I say that. Stand by. It's the same name, man. TGTBTU podcast. Something like that. Yeah, that will be the name, and you can find it on YouTube as well. Like, trust me, if you want to see, look, people are getting moderated by the chat. The chat is being moderated constantly. Someone said DEI. I'm going to get to all the DEI rubbish soon. Bear in mind, I'm only here for like 20 more minutes. Whoever said they liked my cup, yeah, the wife made this, and if you want one, shout me. I see you, man. So safe, bro. First time I've ever heard of voice discrimination. It's crazy. No, but they do that. They do that. They will not accept that you can be from a certain country because they're stupid. It's essentially like being xenophobic to an extent and also just absolutely stupid. I wanted to use the R word, but my boy already got a gross misconduct for saying the R word. And I'm not gonna tell you which R word it is because if I say it, it's peak for me. Custody sergeants back in the day were see you next Tuesdays. Yeah. So you still serving officer? Yes, I am still a serving officer. We're at 5K. All right, cool. I'll tell you story time. So see, okay, let me answer questions first, and then we'll go to story time. So I'm sure there were questions that I've missed because I apologize. Anyone that's new here for me that isn't following me, for anyone that doesn't understand what the hell's going on, I'm a serving Metropolitan Police Officer, firearms officer, gangs, blah 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 blah. I'm here to answer your questions, your general questions. I'm over on YouTube, I'm on TikTok. Talk to me. I'm only here for about 10, 15 minutes. Let's get it. Where are we at? Voices nationality. Yeah, because people are stupid. This is what I'm saying. Police officers are like generally dumb. Like there's a lot of them are stupid. Like this is how dumb police officers can be. When I joined back in 2013, 12, 11, I can't remember. 11, 12, 11, I passed. I think 13, like I was there. I'd already passed, if that makes any sense. But, ooh, a pen. Who that's my Batman? The wife made that. The wife made that. You can't see it, but it's up there. Oh, you can see it on YouTube. But, stand by. There was something in here with her name on it, and I don't want it there. Where is it? Where is it? Wait. There it is. Where is it? Ah, there you go. I don't want that in there. But yeah, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought on that. Hi, where do you stand on DEI guidelines and policies given to the police? Danny. What DEI guidelines do you have and policies that have been given to the police? Tell me them. Because people have been talking about it everywhere. And I'm just like, is it really? And I just sit here drinking from my cup. Just Aura, what's popping? What have you missed? Nothing much. I've just done the introduction, told everyone to try and be nice to each other, but really, and also, as always, band the DPS and ask your questions, ask away questions on either platform. Where are we? How much do you make working with police service? Might join as I'm 18. Ain't no work about. I can hear about not having any work about. Do you really want to be a police officer? Don't know about that one, but bun it in it. Do whatever makes you happy. What's the money? The money when you start, I think they've upped it to maybe like 38 grand when you start. Maybe 38, 40. I can't be 100% sure because you can Google it. I would Google it for you, but I'm also not your dad. So, yeah. Houseway. On you guys. Sorry. How much do you make what I've done that one? Can I become a police officer without GCSEs? Oh, you just reminded me about what I was saying. So there are a lot of police officers that hate anyone that's gone to university, college, all that, because they joined back in the good old days when policing, you didn't really need anything. Now they've made it a little bit more strict. And now you can see it. Just go on to X and you'll see all the old sweats. If anyone doesn't understand what old sweat means, it's old police officers that are probably policing pre-PACE. What is PACE? Policing evidence, Policing Criminal Evidence Act. That was brought in because we had stuff like the sus law where they were just allowed old racist white men to just walk around and say, I suspect that you're going to rob that pretty, beautiful, innocent woman. Let me protect her, and just arrest black people. So they had to bring in more laws to actually make it, a little bit more fairer to everyone. It doesn't really, because they can still do the same thing. But yeah, but it is what it is. So many young officers these days that look scared and always escalate because of fear. Yeah, that does happen. It's because like it's not just the young ones, Like I hate when people say that. Oh, so many young officers. It's the old ones too. Like just sometimes people get scared, and that's okay. It's okay to be scared sometimes, right? Like as the public, we need to understand that they're just human beings. They're just human beings. So to have an expectation that they're not going to be scared in any situation is wild. So, maybe we should curb our expectations. The Batman artwork, yeah, the wife, she made that. Oh, you can't see it. If you go on YouTube, you get a different angle of me. Pause. But yeah, she makes all my Batman stuff. Did you hand back your firearms when Met firearms officers handing them back? No, because I'm not an absolute bat, yo. Why would I do that? That's like, why would I do that? Think about it. Like, think about it. We get told and it is explained to us in no uncertain terms the ramifications of our actions and what might happen to us doing this role. So when it does happen to an officer, and rightly so, because an investigation needs to be happened proportionately, do you get what I'm saying? When it does happen, everyone loses their mind and goes, "Oh my god, I'm going to leave," and it's going to be a certain demographic of people that done it. I'm not going to say who it is, and they just seem to have a problem with someone actually going through the process appropriately. Do I think the process took too long? Yes, it always does take too long. But no one makes that argument for anyone else. You see what I'm saying? In a way, I kind of respect the firearms officers for standing 10 toes down for their man them. Because the reality is, if you look at it objectively and not subjectively, because I can do both. Subjectively, I just think they're battles. But objectively, I respect the shit out of them because they stood 10 toes down for their man them. And if more officers did that, then the police would not be taking the pee and investigating them for so long. But at the same time, you need to look at it from this perspective. The commissioner came out and decided to say, "Oh, I support Martin Blake wholeheartedly." You just pick, like, how can the commissioner of the police, the person who is going to be, who's technically in charge of the gross misconduct process, because it should be the chief officer, is going to say, "I've already made a decision that he's innocent," and didn't come out publicly and support it? He hasn't even had a gross misconduct hearing yet. How are you going to say that? Now it's biased. Now you can't do it. Do you get what I'm saying? So there was issues all the way through that process, and I don't think it was fair. Some may be fair against Martin Blake, and some would have for Martin Blake. But at the end of the day, it was a process that he should have been going through because that's what the law says. And should it have taken so long? No. But should the commissioner have come out and backed him? No. Do you get me? He don't back no one else. So, like, the only times I've seen the commissioner back someone, 2 white officers. And bear in mind, I can also be wrong. Like, I haven't seen every single time. But the ones in my recent memory is the officer in Croydon, and I point that way because obviously you know the ends I'm from. The officer in Croydon on the bus who dragged off the woman with the child and was beefing her and arrested her, which was absolutely disproportionate, and Martin Blake. And I don't think it's coincidental that they're both black. They're both white. I do this all the time. I stop looking at the questions. Go check out my Yalta help. Why do they say you are under arrest and not over arrest? Because people like me, I'm often underwhelmed or just whelmed. I'm very rarely overwhelmed. So there you go. Just being fair. Are you jealous of the armed officers? Why would I be jealous of the armed officers? Are you stupid? Google me, fool. I am one. Stupid ass. I think Dom is friends with Martin Blake. No, I'm not friends. Why would I be? Bro, why would I be friends with Martin Blake? Well, I mean, I could be friends with Martin Blake. I'm not. I don't necessarily know him. I heard he's actually a nice person. If I'm keeping it 100. Because I know his friends. What's the point? How long does it take to get a response ticket in the Met? What do you mean, driving? I don't know. It depends what team you are. And my response, hell no. Why would I want to do that for? Oh, someone's writing my whole name. I mean, if that's to intimidate me, can you put a capital at my name? It's a name. Like, see, this is the problem. See, this is the fundamental problem. This is why the wife and the DPS do stupid stuff and say my wife isn't from this country. Because stupid people that are English, and I'm assuming you are, can't even put a capital letter on a name. I was teaching my daughter, she's 5, she already knows that concept. Spell my name properly, waste man. Does she use you to practice her MMA moves? She's a wrestler, she picked my ass up. I can't beat her on the floor. She whooped my ass. Would you ever join traffic? On them rats. Nah, I wouldn't do traffic. How long is a response? Are you in response for? I'm not in. I don't understand your question. I'm not on response. Are you? But I survived. I don't understand what you're saying. Oh, is that? I don't know. What team are you in? What do you mean? I I don't understand your question. Be more specific. You got more characters. Type them. Use them. Talk to the people about DEI. Yo, Daddy Addy, why are you trying to trigger me for? I already told you my position on the Novak case. I'm assuming it's Novak because it's not an English name, and it makes me laugh that the extreme right are backing him simply because of the color of his skin and not from where he's from because they hate the whole diversity. But yet he's not English. And yeah, make it make sense. My position on the Novak and the DEI, I'm not going to talk about someone losing their life because that's the most important thing. And ban anyone that tries to get clicks off of talking about him losing his life. What I will talk about is the idiots that are talking about DEI and saying, "Oh my God, you need to change this, and this is happening, and all this training is happening." It's like, where? Where's the training? What are you talking about, fools? And to be completely honest, I kind of want them to keep doing this. Is it damaging to the Black community, Asian community, and all the rest of the minorities? Mildly, but it's not anything that they're not doing already. Do you get what I'm saying? I've said this before, and this will probably be on the transcript for my DPS bringing the job into disrepute. I'm happy watching my ops get the brakes beaten off of them. So more to the guys in Southampton, you keep doing your thing, and I enjoy watching you dickheads get absolutely battered by the police. It makes my day. There's a video, my favorite video of the riots when they were last doing this whole DEI beef thing, when they were going to the hotels and wherever it was a dog handler letting his dog bite the backside off of this racist waste man. It was great. It was a movie for me. I saved it on my phone and I just watch it over and over again. Because the last time I've seen police let dogs bite people, it just reminded me of 80s America. And I never thought that I'd be in the privileged position, to sit down and watch what's happened. Like, it's all gone full circle. The police normally target Black and ethnic minorities just because, institutional racism and that. But now, the extreme right are so stupid, they've managed to make an enemy of the police. And especially as there's a whole bunch of them in the police anyway, they managed to get those people to now beat the brakes off them. So when Black people are jumping in and saying, "Oh, we need to argue some of these points," I'm like, "Hey, whoa, pump the brakes. Let's just watch some more, please. I'm enjoying this." But yeah, I'm not a response team. Stop asking me. Jesus Christ. Would you say they discriminate against mixed people as a second place? I don't think there is a first place. I think they just indiscriminately discriminate, if that makes any sense. Why is racism against Black people so common? People of my own kind are so racist I had to deal with. I don't know who your own kind is, so I don't even know what you're trying to say, brother. But yeah, at least it's just Southampton. When Mark Duggan got M'd, most city in UK kicked off. Yeah, because when there's not transparency around the situation, people get angry. And but there's this historical context behind it. I'm not backing Mark Duggan in the slightest, but I understand the situation and I understand the emotions behind it. And this is why the police should have training. Because I understand if you do a certain thing to a certain group of people that they've said you've been doing since forever and you can't justify it, then people are going to wild out. And it's great because it's not great. It's actually really funny watching them try to weaponize it and flip it and use it for themselves. So now you've got the Caucasian community or the English, whatever they want to call themselves. Because it's not obviously all of them. I just call them far right. Make it easier. You've got the far right trying to say, look, you see, you've got all these things in place to protect those people. And it's like, bro, you do understand they still beat the ish out of us on a daily basis. You are just experiencing what we've been experiencing all our lives. And I love every second of it. So I'm going to just watch it and laugh. That's it. Two-tier policing been going on even before 1980s. People only care now because it's affecting YT people. Basically. My own kind is Vietnamese. Shout out you guys, man. The Novak situation is not over. There will be more protests. Yeah, let them. Like, as I said, if the far right want to get their ass bust, I'm pretty sure the TSG will dish them out some beatings. So yay TSG, go out there and show them how you roll. Beat the brakes off them. But all my issues be sorted. I don't know, never. What jobs would you recommend officers to get after leaving the force? I feel like it's always security. Now you don't have to do security. What you need to understand, there's so much. Do you know what? Just DM me, bro. I can have this conversation all day. There's so much you've learned that you didn't even know. So many skills you have that you don't even know that you have. Conflict resolution. You don't need to be in security. You could be like head of security. Like one of my boys has gone to. Is he in the Tate Modern? He's in security there. He's not doing like door work. Do you know what I'm saying? He's in the corporate establishment. You can do so many things, man. What are your strengths? What's going on, Calm? What jobs would you recommend? Oh, really read that. Are you going into cybersecurity? Nah, I finished my course, and then I was like, I mean, I can do the job. Don't get me wrong. I can be an analyst quite comfortably, but am I going to do it now? Maybe, maybe not. Views on the Special Patrol Group. Special Patrol Group? Which one's that? Who's that? Head of Operations Security. Yeah, man. Run for Met Commissioner. They would never listen. If you could vote for like your borough, I think you should do this because they do it in America. I think you should be able to in the UK or just do it in London as an experiment. You should be able to vote for your commander, for your commissioner. Just do it on a lower level first. You should be able to vote for commissioner, but you should be able to vote for your borough's commander, and only people in the area get to choose. So you live in Croydon, you live in wherever, Camden, wherever. Everyone of Camden gets to vote who their commander is. And it doesn't matter the rank of them at the time, you just get to vote whoever the hell you want. Because I'd win. And where we live will be so much fun. Because it'll just be fun. It'll be such a vibe. Such a vibe. Because people will think I'll be out here wilding. I ain't wilding. Trust me, I'm an authoritarian. I'm on that dictator stuff, bro. It'll be safe, but fun. Does your wife use you to practice and teach her MMA moves? I don't do MMA. I told you already, she's a wrestler. She'll whoop my ass. Special Patrol Group. Oh, you talking about the SPG back in the 80s? Yeah. In 1987, time to move on. Special Patrol, like what? Is that what we were talking about? That's TSG, man. They just changed the name. Me as the commander of the DPS. Oh my days. We would have so much fun. So much fun. Yeah, look, where are we at? 5.7K. Can you keep tapping the screen, please, guys? Because I really appreciate it. I really need you guys there. Look, on YouTube, if you're sitting here watching me on YouTube, you want to ask a question, because I'm on both platforms right now. So ask away if you've got anything you want to ask. Have you been in the police force for 35 years? My brother, yes. I've been there for 35 years. I joined when I was 5. Bro, man's never got any coins. That's a you problem because I give out coins. Look, when we get to 15K, then coins will come. I don't know how to do it on YouTube. I'm sorry. Your first duty in DPS would be to reform its entire staff and make them redundant. Listen to that. Look at that. So in my chat, that has been filtered just because he wrote the word DPS. And that's how I know. I'll tell you straight up and down. The Metropolitan Police, the DPS actively watch my lives and they vote down anything that says DPS. That's why my lives get restricted. That's why I go onto YouTube now, because they are sitting there and they're going, we do not want you to tell everyone about DPS. And my job and our job as a group of people that you know all follow and all the rest of it is to make sure everyone knows about the Directorate of Professional Standards because they're a bunch of bad girls. But yeah, why would you want to be a Fed? Why wouldn't I? You dumb. I get to eat donuts all day. Come on, son. The word reform is probably why it was filtered. But it's a word in real life. Why would you? Maybe. I don't know. But what I've been looking at, a lot of the filter stuff has got the DPS in it. But bro, nobody likes the police. I like the police. Some of them. There you go. It's one person. My dog likes me. That's two people. I mean, she's not a person. My other dog definitely don't like police. Why are you calling me? Don't call me. So sorry, someone decided they wanted to interrupt the live by calling me. No respect. You're a policeman, of course you do. Well, you're an idiot because you clearly do not watch my live enough to know how I feel about a lot of police officers. Hence the reason when you look at the profile, it says Bunda DPS. I mean, you guys want to hear a funny story? We're at 5K. Bun it. I'll give you a story. So I get a message. Recently, I've been getting these messages, and people message me, they DM me, and they ask. A lot of times, it's just advice. Normal people asking for advice, which is fair, and that's why I'm here, and I've got no problem answering them. But recently, I've been getting a spate of people asking the exact same question in the exact same way, which is, I am a young black man. I want to join the Metropolitan Police. Please tell me some advice, what I should do. And I'm like, you're the DPS trying to make this a racial issue and make me tell you not to join because the Metropolitan Police are racist. You do not need to hide because I will tell you straight up and down, do not join the Metropolitan Police because they're racist. Oh my god. But yeah, anyway. Also I had someone from Professional Standards contact me. So that's basically DPS, Director of Professional Standards. You have Director of Professional Standards and you have Professional Standards. They've all been amalgamated now in the Metropolitan Police. But it may not make sense to other police officers, but there you go, I'll just explain it. The person's reached out to me. I was gonna post what they wrote because views on Rachel Williams. Why do I know that name? Wait, who's Rachel Williams? Rachel. No, so one of my OSCs is a Rachel. That's hilarious. But what was I saying? So she's reached out to me and she told me her whole situation. She's in some mad situation. And she said, "Oh, can you give me any help?" And she's actually asking a really specific question, which I'm not going to say on there. But she's asking for help. And I was just like, she's like, "Oh, I'm in the Professional Standards." My response was just simply, "You're my ops, bro." And then she went on to say, "Oh, I never really looked at your profile. I can't condone or support having any conversation with someone that has predetermined views on people in my organization." I'm like, dickhead, I'm in your organization, first of all. And second of all, how did you find my profile and not know that I'm in eternal beef, a blood feud with the Director of Professional Standards? And obviously, you know what happened here. She tried the thing, I clocked it, and then she was like, "Oh, I didn't know." And the reality is, anyone that clicks on my profile and even sends me a message about policing knows that I'm in the Metropolitan Police, and they know I dislike vehemently the Director of Professional Standards, also the TSG. But yeah. So for her to message me, it was a setup. But I just find it interesting. Story time. So we can have this story time because I'm about to bounce and play some Call of Duty because it is what it is. Can you keep tapping the screen, please? Because we're stuck on 5.9. Yeah, we need to get like 15. Bun Joe Elliott for life. If you don't know who Joe Elliott is one of the most corrupt police officers in the Directorate of Professional Standards that I know of. There's probably more, but that I know of. Bun her eternally. We'll have a story time about her later. But I had to go up to Hertfordshire, whose front office is probably comparative to Charing Cross, different shape. Smells like weed. They need to sort that out. I'm not there to back my brethren, but I had an interaction with a custody sergeant. My views on Dan Ivy, bun him too. How can he be an appropriate authority and also be a commander on Director of Professional Standards? Like, what are we doing? Why is he allowed to make a decision and then suspend people too? What are we doing? Well, if we run out of commanders, is there not a thing called bias? Sorry. Dan Ivy is one of the people that authorize officers to be suspended, but then also make decisions on whether officers should have gross misconduct. And there's a clear bias there, so he shouldn't be allowed to do that. But what was I saying? So I was in Hearts, went to go back to my brethren and go and be appropriate adult for them. And while I was down there, the process, you normally just go in, tell them your name, say who you're there for, blah 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 blah. is what it is, and done. In it going. This time they've decided that my brethren doesn't need an appropriate adult, and I was like, well, I'm not going to tell you the full circumstances, but due to the circumstances, especially their previous encounter inside of custody, I think, considering the guidelines, they probably do need an appropriate adult. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're like, nah, you're not going to get in. After the first sergeant that took my name, he was like, calm. It's always the old sweaty, bald sergeants that are battios. And that normally is true regardless of colour when it comes to custody. When they've lost their hair, they're battios. Not all of them, I'm just saying in custody. So whilst inside there, I've gone to he's come out and he's gone, nah, you ain't coming in there. And I've given him my explanation as why I need to. And then he said no. And I said, well, considering the guidelines, I stated the guidelines to him because obviously I know them. I'm not an ex-cop, I'm a serving police officer. Considering the guidelines, I was like, look, this person needs an appropriate adult because it's a difficult time for them. He was like, no, you might as well just go home. I said, look, brother, I'm not going home because I'm waiting here for my regiment regardless. So if you can get me the sergeant that's actually dealing with him, he's like, no, you're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And he turns his back on me and walks away. And I'm like, bro, I'm actually not finished speaking to you. So you need to turn the F back around. I didn't say the F, but, for dramatic. That's what I thought. I was thinking it because, I'm actually quite respectful in person until you give me a reason not to be. So as I told him, don't turn your back on me. That's such a Lion King line. Don't turn your back on me, Scar. No, you don't turn your back on me, Mufasa. But anyway, he turned back around like, who are you talking to? And at this point, now I'm standing up because I was sitting down for the whole conversation because I find that, especially for like weak-minded people, are directly intimidated by my size and my stature. So I often make myself smaller so we can actually have a conversation without the person acting like a complete battio. But then, obviously, when I stand up, they realize I'm 6'4", and they're like, "Oh, snap!" So that's what happened. He turned his back on me. I stood up, and I was like, "Hey, turn back around, bro. I ain't done talking to you." And he was like, "Who are you talking to?" And he was like, "Oh shit, I'm talking to a man mountain." So now he's looking up at me, and he's like, "Well, I've got nothing more to say to you." And I said, "Listen, this is why people don't like you." And when I meant you, I meant the Metropolitan Police. Well, policing in general. I said, the fact that you can't have a respectful conversation without turning your back on someone, regardless of the context of the conversation and the topic at hand, whether you like it or you don't, or you finished your part of the conversation, you should still, it's only respectful and kind to listen to what the other person has to say. That's it. You don't have to agree. I don't want your sympathy or even your empathy. I just want you to let me finish my sentence because that's being kind and, respectful. You don't have to be kind. You have to be respectful. And he's looked at me and he's just like, well, I've got nothing more to say. And I repeated myself. I said, it doesn't matter whether you've got anything to say. I am saying something to you. And it would be kind and respectful if you stood there and listened to me, not turn your back on me. And I said, would you like to start this conversation again? And he said, no. I said, well, fine then, brother. I'll just report you. I said, what's your name? He said, I don't need to tell you my name. And I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, here's my shoulder number. That's all you need. And I was just like, okie dokie, if that's how you feel. And it was really funny because the front office worker was watching the whole thing play out. And he was dying. He was cracking up. Because I don't think he's ever in his life seen anyone challenge a sergeant like that. Because probably maybe in hearts, everyone doesn't have, the cojones like me to do that. But he's asked me, oh, bro, do you want me? He's an Asian guy. He goes, bro, do you want me to ring the other sergeant and maybe you can smooth this out? You have to talk to this guy. I was like, why would I do that? I said, he's made his bed. Don't worry about him. I'll make my complaint appropriately. And this is the issue. And this is the fundamental issue. We lack communication skills throughout society, to be completely honest. But in the jobs where you need it the most, like policing, where you have conflict, you need to be able to have conversations with people, and you need to be able to just, even if you don't like what someone's saying, just understand, let someone finish, and then you're still in a modicum of control. i.e., being the police officer. He didn't know I was a police officer. I mean, he found out in the end. And to answer anyone's question, did I get inside? Of course I did. Because I was right and he was wrong. I was tall and he was short. I was pretty, he was ugly. I had hair and he didn't. So, all of those things played into the fact that me being right. But anyway, I'm going to answer you those questions. Oh, wait, goodie bag. Oh, my back. Check this. Anyone on YouTube, shout out. You guys are going to end the stream now because I'm about to end the stream on the other one. Peace. Yeah, so goodie bag.